Hey guys, today we're going to talk about view models and how to take an idea, turn it into a conceptual model, and then ultimately be able to present that conceptual model as software, as the ability to engage and interact with that idea, because now it becomes a digital asset. So an idea starts with concepts. We have to first begin to create a conceptual model for that idea. The conceptual model is going to consist of entities. You may have customers, may have products, you may have orders, you may have any combination of those things that you want to display on the screen. That means you're also going to have a data model because you need somewhere to store that information. You want to have that information to be stored somewhere so you can create new entries, update existing entries, and query and read the entries up to the application code so that you're displaying it on the screen so the user can interact with that information. And then also to be able to delete or remove information that is no longer needed. So with this aspect of it, you're beginning to understand that there is a data model. There's also a logical view. The logical view is going to be the presentation to the user. So the user has to have the ability to see the information in human readable form. And so that means there are going to be controls on the screen. You may have information in regards to charts or graphs, and that information can be displayed via HTML, CSS. Maybe you have some AngularJS or Vue.js or React or Blazor, some type of code on the client side that's going to render that data, those data objects, into visual information for the user. So that means we're going to need to model that information. You have to write the model view code. That's going to take some labor. You got to write that model view code, create the entities, and whatever you're using, whether it's C#, C++, whatever language you're using for the application side, the model view controller, then you need to create those entities. And then on the data modeling side, now you still have to model the database. You got to create the tables, table for customer, table for product, table for order. And once you create those tables, now you got to create the columns or the fields. So you got your data sets, your data elements, right? Your different columns and fields, and then your relationships. So you're managing your schema. And so that's going to be in your user database. That's also some manual effort. You got to run some queries, some statements, create table, create column, alter table, maybe add some foreign key constraints, some indexes, right? Then you have your data access layer. In order to get access to that information, in order for the data that's in the database to bubble up into the application to become model view code, meaning data objects that can actually be displayed on the screen using HTML or some other markup language or some scripting like JavaScript, then you need a data access layer in order to pull that information from the database. And the data access layer is going to understand what type of database is connecting to the server. It's going to have some information on how to do that. So that's where your data access layer is going to be responsible for. Then you need a controller. So a controller is responsible for ensuring that the presentation layer, the interface, the user interface, can take the commands from the user. If the user wants to save information or push information up to the database or make any changes or access a new screen, the controllers drive those requests, right? And so that's where this controller level exists here. So you got two layers in here, model view and the controller in this layer. And then your presentation layer, you have what you're going to display to the user. So your presentation layer is going to hold your HTML, your AngularJS, your JavaScript, all of the controls and components that the user is going to engage and interact with. And so what we've done here is built out this system. Now, what I haven't described in here is this piece. This is different, okay? So this is a meta database. And since there's so much work in managing view code, data model code, data access layer. As soon as you go to add new entities, you're going to have an impact here. That means you're actually going to make changes to the software. Well, the metadatabase is used to facilitate management of this. And in our next session, we will break down this new design. This is the original design of model view, view model, and we're going to enter a new design of model view, view model. That's going to totally remove the repetitive, mundane task of managing entities and schemas. All this goes away. Matter of fact, there'll be no code for entities in the model view code. Looking forward to our next session. Hope you guys enjoyed this session. And as always, have a wonderful day.